live with today's train and trade. Make sure you follow along dtitrader.com/telegram, and of course, dtitrader.com/YouTube to join in on the presentation. Free YouTube access, dtitrader.com/YouTube. It's the best way to support what we do here at DTI. Make sure you like and subscribe. And hey, go ahead and say good morning in that chat room, and look forward to interacting with you guys throughout the day. So let's get straight to it. We've got the risk disclaimer up here. There is a very high degree of risk involved in trading. You and you alone will be responsible for all the decisions you make. Make sure that you consult your personal financial advisors. Understand there is always risk associated with markets. Past performance, not always indicative of future results. And let's go ahead and move straight through. Crude opened at 96.78 last night. They moved up to an overnight high of 100.29, playing with that 100 level. They have since moved past that, Tom. Crude up to 102.70. So you're warning about, hey, careful with this. Ceasefire might not be quite as stable as you think it is, certainly playing out in the crude market. Negotiations scheduled for Saturday. We'll see if we can get to and through those. Now, GDP this morning, gain of 0.5% for the fourth quarter. It's a little bit lower than expectations, but I think the big news with fourth quarter GDP, it remains positive. That's kind of the big takeaway. It's not a great number, but it's not a negative number. Core PCE year over year, 3.0 versus 3.1 on the previous reading. And then we've got PPI coming up tomorrow morning. Some key levels here. The March high, I think, is still important. I know we're in April, but that March high kind of looming at 69.11 quarter. The April high set yesterday, 68.47 quarter, happens to be right around the same level as the buy zone in the roadmap software for the E-mini S&P on the Compass chart. Might get to take a look at that in a bit. The FTD high, 66.61. Month open 65.62, and the FTD low, which is also the low of the month, 65.0375. Tom, crude.
Oh, yeah, before I jump in, I got a question. How many people, give me a yes if you like us playing that music at the start of this, and give me a no if you don't. I'm just sort of curious because somebody was complaining about it, and I said, well, we'll just ask.
I think it stands to reason you're never going to please everybody, but I think we're pleasing the most, according to the answers coming up in the chat.
Yeah, I've got, you ought to copy and show that. I'd say 99% of people like it, so we got one person that doesn't. So what I would tell you is if you don't like it, I would come in here instead of being here at 11. We always started at 11. There's a reason we do it. Just give you explanation. You know, we're doing other things. I'm trading, doing other things. And when the song ends, I drop what I'm doing to get in here. And that's the way I use it. So if you don't like it, just show up about 11:04, 11:05, and you should be fine.
11:03, actually. 3 minutes and 4 seconds is the length of the song.
So as Dan says, I love it. So tell whoever doesn't like it to mute their computer. Anyway, I just wanted to ask because I thought it was, it's good to ask, because this is totally free. Let me ask you a question. Do you get what you pay for in here? That free? I mean, if the value is not here, then I wouldn't waste my time.
Yeah, again, the intro song is 3 minutes and 4 seconds. So if you prefer not to listen to it, log in at 11:03 and we'll get things rolling.
Anyway, right. I think it's pretty interesting. I just wanted to. I saw that and I thought that was sort of a little shock, but that's okay. People's got opinion. I got one. Did y'all remember me giving you yesterday the real value of where I said the market was going to reverse this uptrend. Y'all remember those numbers? I gave you 67.75 on the S&P, 67.75 on the S&P, and I gave you 249.13 on the NASDAQ future. And this morning, if you look at our low on the E-mini, our low was 67.92, so the uptrend's still in process based on that assessment. The NASDAQ low was 249.53, so about 40 points. You know how much money that was worth to me? Those two numbers? By using those numbers, because once I know where I'm wrong, then I can escalate by being right. Everybody understand what I'm saying? And once I know where I'm wrong, I knew that if this market went below those numbers, I didn't want to be long. Everybody get my drift here? Once I define the risk in a market like I did yesterday, I go to town on those numbers, meaning I'm buying things in the background using the E-mini NASDAQ to tell me, hey, maybe I'm reading it wrong. I mean, they were selling a story this morning. If you looked at it, they had crude going up, which put pressure on the market, and they were selling a story, we're going down. That was the value. Now we got to get above 68.25, which is my pivot number to say, hey, here we go. But I think if you'll listen to these numbers, especially if I give you numbers like that, and I had those numbers coming in watching the rally yesterday, and I said, I'm using it last night, I'm using it today. That's how I use those numbers. Any questions about that? That alone's worth multiple thousands of dollars. Multiple. I don't throw it out lightly. They're really numbers I'm using to trade with. So I hope that helps you if you're new. If you're not, I know you've been around long enough to know the value there. That's my opinion. So I've got a stock we're going to look at today. Jonathan doesn't know about this. I hadn't told him. I always like to keep a secret from Johnson. That way he doesn't know as much as I know. Huh? No, I'm kidding. But no, I got a stock I haven't bought in. This is the week where I buy stocks I hadn't bought in over 20 years. And the stock is Intel, INTC, Intel. And we'll look at it when we go to a live market. So just got that in front of me. Right now, Intel is at $60.90. My target today should be about 62. Anyway, just to give you an idea. That's Intel. And we'll look at, John, you want to definitely add it to the 3-day algo list for me, okay?
Will do.
All right, in my opinion, the ceasefire, this is day 2, and I'm giving it the benefit of the doubt as long as we stay above 67.75 and 149.13. You know what I'm saying? I'm skeptical, but I got numbers to keep me from making DA decisions.
So basically,
anybody know what DA stands for?
Yeah, I don't think there's any restriction to saying that. However, I think we can. Yeah, digital assets. That's it, Sean.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah.
So, if you were sitting here, I'd say dumb, blank, blank, blank. Anyway, just to say it.
Yeah, I think donkey is the word you were looking for.
Yeah, donkey, right?
Yeah, that's it.
I saw something real quick, a side note, and I looked it up on the internet, and I didn't know what this girl was talking about. She's a Gen Zer complaining about Eric Swalwell, and she used the word DM. I didn't know what that meant, so I looked it up on the internet, and it told me. Now I understand it, how she had it abbreviated. You know, it used to be the way people use abbreviations. They would say the word and then put parentheses, you know, some shorthand language, and then you knew what they were talking about. They don't do that anymore, I guess. But we got.
I think it depends on the context, Tom. There's no point in shortening a word and then at the same time adding the full definition of the word kind of defeats the purpose of shortening it. But yeah, so the context matters here. Like I would always, if we're doing presentations, we write out Intel Corporation in parentheses INTC, right? So
Yeah,
we do that here. Um,
that's an old school thing that we do, but I guess if you're under 30, they don't do that anymore. That's a general statement, I guess. But I just remember always, in the military, you got a lot of acronyms. And so you
yeah,
got to learn those acronyms to understand how people have language talking to you. Okay. So just throwing that out there. So anyway, my opinion is we give the ceasefire, even though I'm very skeptical, we give it a numbers look, and those are my numbers. Okay, that's what I'm thinking. All right, so by the way, I called a flash meeting today at 3:30 for pocket puts. If you want to join us, we'll get started at 3:30. It won't last long, but try to show up at 3:30. I think that we need to be thinking that going into the weekend. Okay, I want to make sure everybody understands the simple approach. Be there or be square, as John said. All right, what else we got here?
well, I think it's about time to get the show truly started. So, Train and Trade occurring Monday through Friday in the month of April at 11 a.m. Eastern. Hope you guys are able to stay in attendance with us. Reminder that all trades in Train and Trade are tracked through T-Buzz Talk and Trade, and you can sign up for that, dtitrader.com/TNT. Tom's first book, plus the trilogy, Roadmap to the Markets, available on Amazon. Winning the Day Trading Game, complimentary audio book at the link below. The Markets Never Sleep is available on Amazon. And Trade to Win, also available on Amazon.com. All four great reads. If you're just getting into the market, you want to see a little bit of that bigger picture, I highly recommend these books. The first one, Winning the Day Trading Game, I think Tom was phenomenal. The follow-ups are great, but that Winning the Day Trading Game is a must-read for anybody really wanting to get into the business. And if you want to preview it before you buy it, dtitrader.com/WDTG. Online public resources. These are resources that we use throughout the days and the weeks and all the time building up to bringing you these presentations. We keep up with news at forexfactory.com and econoday.com. Keep up with earnings over at earningswhispers.com. And we're about to head into earnings season, so that link starting to become more and more important. I think, Tom, you mentioned yesterday you took advantage of some early morning earnings. So the earnings are out there if you want to use them. The exchanges where you can go and research what's going on with these products. Also, check out the holiday calendars. CMeGroup.com, NYSE.com, and Eurex.com. Great places to go and figure out what these markets are up to, plus learn a little bit more about the markets. We have more resources available at DTI, the white paper booklet, www.dtitrader.com/WP. Of course, the YouTube page, we're over there now, and Tom got some fantastic feedback on the music you asked about. Makes my day, according to Kevin. Always play it. And if the live stream starts a little early on YouTube, the music is fun. So those YouTube guests, they don't come on until after the music, but sometimes we'll get that YouTube started early, and they really do like that over there. So got some positive feedback in that YouTube chat. Now, important terms to know, the penalty tape, options EDU by DTI, Tom's BNN interview. Let me encourage you. You guys are going to get a link to these slides now and again at the end of the presentation. Go to these slides with these links on them. Check out those links. If you want to view them over the weekend, you're looking for something to do Saturday while you're watching the news to hear about any negotiations and how that might affect the market while you're waiting for that news to come up, listen to the penalty tape, check out Options EDU, and give a listen into Tom's BNN interview. Now, the new options education resource, options.edu, a great place to go and learn a little bit about the markets. And we encourage you to, again, check that out, especially if you're interested in trading options. But even if you're not, just understanding how they move and what they could be doing in the market, that becomes kind of important. And we've got April FTD stocks. We're going to go and take a look at some of these. Let me just go ahead and click in here. And
I'm actually taking over there for you, Chuck, and I updated a moment ago, but I didn't capture the new high on the day that just happened on the S&P. So let me update it again.
yeah, that new high is 68.27 quarter. So the market pushed slightly above Tom's pivot at 68.25. See if he can stay there.
The cash VIX is at 20.5. The VIX futures are at 21.75. So what is that? That's about $1.25 difference between the two. When Tom says VIX below 20 is what we want to see long term, he's talking about the VIX futures. Looks like you could, if you're following the cash, it looks like you use the 18 to 19 area, 18 and a half area if you're following cash, 19. We do have an S&P at 68.28. That's the new high on the day. And the next important level up is that 68.45 level from yesterday's high was actually 47. But we'll round down to 45 as we often track that 45 number. Sean, yes, yesterday the SPY did open above the 3-day algo, which increases the odds dramatically of by the time we get to the end of the month, it being a positive month. So we'll still have swings up and down, but the odds are increased by about 87% as of the last 5 years that the month will end positive. As we go through this, hadn't seen this in a while, have you? S&P, NASDAQ, and Dow all long above their 3-day algo. All right, I think it's been since February. We've been on a 2-month hiatus here. Nice to see crude oil not above its 3-day high. It is perking up a little bit this morning.
But the 3-day high for crude is what?
It's way up there at 115.
And the midpoint, if you take 91 to 115, that's 9, 15 to 24, and 24 to 91 would be about 103, Jonathan, 103.50, probably be the midpoint I'd be watching. What's the high today? Crude oil, 102.70. Those midpoints will keep you, when you see something like this on crude oil, it puts things in perspective. At least it does for me.
Certainly does. Certainly does. It looks like the midpoint of the 3-day algo is about 106.
Jonathan, I know that I've been big on AMD. Don't we have some open positions there? Didn't we buy something in some program, AMD? I'm just curious.
You did issue an AMD trade yesterday, Tom. And it's doing pretty good. It's up about a couple percentage points or so. Not screaming by any means, but doing pretty good. It's in the green right now.
Okay.
Or black, as some people say. Let's keep going down this list. There's Bitcoin long. Tom said hold off on the grains right now.
Yeah, at 12 o'clock, we had the monthly grains report. This is a Rock'em Sock'em report. After that report, I'll start trading grains in the future side. In fact, if you're in my Futures Plus, I will give you an analysis sometime maybe after 1:30 on the grain. Let it trade for about an hour and a half after it goes, Frank. That's what I was thinking. My hands have been off grains until that report comes out. Got to honor that biggest report. I call it the Big Day report in grain.
Then we got a lot of green here for the indexes and a couple of ETFs. SPY, Qs, Diamond, Financials, Utilities. Scroll down, here's the new one added, Tom, Intel,
What was its 3-day high?
52.38,
What was it?
$52.38.
Okay, so what that tells me, folks, Intel's in play in the month of April. Several ways you can play it. You can buy the stock, number one, with the buy signal on the SPY. You can do a put spread, bullish put spread on it, or you can buy a call. You got a lot of choices on Intel. It's a stock, like I said, I hadn't traded probably 25 years. I am trading it today, just to let you know. Okay, that's Intel. Intel.
Here's a block of your Mag 7. We've got most of them long. Apple not quite there. Microsoft has been very, very weak. It's not there. And Tesla is actually a short. Keep going down. The next block is your AMD, Micron, Seagate Technology, and Western Digital. Those are looking real good. Next block of green, Walmart, General Motors, your defense ETFs, and Raytheon perking up here. And then the stock you got here, Air, which I'm not real familiar with, Tom, but I know we added it sometime over the last couple months.
Yeah, look at it. Remind me about Air. What do they do?
I have no idea. I'm not very familiar with it.
I'm not either. I wonder how I got on the list. I must have saw it on a momentum-based thing, and I like the symbol, Air.
AAR Corporation, trying to figure out what they do.
AAR? Okay. Well, look at it. Looks like it's got some room to run.
Got some banks, JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs, Citigroup. We spoke
Yeah,
about
notice the
it yesterday.
dashboard. Did you see the dashboard yesterday? Highlighting the banks, JP Morgan and Morgan Stanley yesterday, Goldman Sachs. I thought that was interesting.
Yeah, we spoke about that at yesterday's MTI session. That same session is where your AMD came from. It was on the dashboard, I believe.
Yeah. I want to take a hard look at the defense stocks. Air is Airbus, Weasel? I was part of the team that brought Airbus to Mobile, Alabama. It's growing, isn't it, Jonathan?
Oh, big time. Mobile's a lot of growth in Mobile. Port City.
I'm getting a women's basketball team. Morgan was telling me about it today.
Well, your son would certainly know, wouldn't he? I know we're getting hockey. I didn't know we were getting women's basketball. I know we're getting hockey.
Yeah, yeah, that too. But anyway, I said, so he was talking about having to go to Mobile quite a bit. So, well, right, I'll go down with you, you know. I'll be coming to Mobile a couple of times.
Probably get some ribs from Barbecue Shack too. Dreamland.
Absolutely. All right, folks, look, when you know where you're wrong, the value of that is just unbelievable. Okay. And I got to tell you, having those two numbers really helped me frame today, because under ordinary circumstances, because skepticism about the ceasefire, maybe or maybe not, won't play out in the market. Then they had oil going up. Now, if you see oil go back below 100, then you're going to see this rally get some legs. Okay, if it goes back below 100. But the 3-day algo is something very valuable we use here. A lot of our programs have it internalized inside it. Helps us with our success, you know. So pretty neat stuff, you know. Pretty neat stuff.
Well, a market that's perking up, I know we still have some uncertainty out there, but when you see this in the S&P, when you see the S&P Dow, NASDAQ, that lends itself to a much, generally speaking, a better market to trade. And one of those systems that you have that does really well, Tom, in good markets and bad, actually, we'll show you that in a minute, is called the Weekend Profits Club. You sometimes call it Weekend Side Hustle.
Yeah, let's do me a favor before we get in these slides. I think it'd be help them, and then go look at a live market here and sort of frame it for everybody for this afternoon. Why don't we do that before we get into the Weekend Profit Club? Only thing I'll tell you about the Weekend Profits Club is Jonathan was about to tell you. Through thick and thin, this program and what we developed here is money that comes from the market, uneducated people, puts you in really a nice situation. So if you look here, you got the E-mini on the left-hand side, and on the right-hand side, you got AMD.
I was checking out a daily chart of that Air stock, but I'm going to switch it over to AMD now. A daily chart of each are listed here.
Okay, my target on AMD for everybody is 245. Okay, 245. It's bullish. I think you'll see 245, maybe in April. That's my target on AMD. All right, let's bring up the big Intel. I've been talking about it. Bring up Intel. The average true range of Intel is 3 points. So if you take today's low, what was today's low, Jonathan?
Looks like today's low is about 58.40.
And 3 points would put you about 61.5, maybe.
Yep, sure would.
That would be, if you got to 61.5, that'd be like a home run when it's full ATR. That's Intel. I draw a line to show them where I say, this is the daily, show them where I say that the trend, and you got to look for skepticism in the peace deal. Draw a line down there at 67.75, not far away on the E-mini.
I switched it over to a 30-minute chart. I'm going to go full screen here. That orange line down there is 67.75. I can put a note.
Yeah, that is to me the rally. What that tells me, without watching news, I know John keeps us up informed on news all the time. I really appreciate it. Very helpful, John, what you're doing. I appreciate that. I want to thank you. I know that you're going to do that during the session, so it piggybacks on what Chuck does, but I really like it because you really get in some details I don't get to see on most days. But what I really pay attention to is this number, 67.75. So coming into the day, after not going down and taking it out last night, I said to myself, okay, I can get long down here at these lower price if the market sets up, and it did. And I got long, and the next thing you know, guess what happened? Market started skyrocketing. Like right now, it's 68.42. Does everybody see how to use this? That's why I always come back to the E-mini. Now, the NASDAQ, why don't you go over to the NASDAQ, okay?
Oh, check that out, up to 42. NASDAQ went up to 25,142.
Yeah, 122. What time did that occur? Let's bring the QQQ and I'll show them how to use it.
New high, 25,149.
Go to the QQQ next after you give us the time we made that low in the NASDAQ future.
The low was overnight at Europe, 4 o'clock.
4 o'clock this morning, right?
Yep.
Okay. Well, the four, Jonathan, the number I'm using is, give it to you. I have to so long. It's 249.13, wherever that number is. Oh,
That was
249.
okay. That was over here yesterday morning, about
What time?
11 a.m. or so.
All right, now put the QQQ in there. And find that same time on the QQQ.
Low is 602. 602.
602 is the number?
Yep.
All right, so what we've done is take the futures and translate it. A lot of people don't use futures, but we translated it into the futures number, and now we know as long as the QQQ is above 602, we'll call it the ceasefire intact. Does that make sense what I did there? Now let's bring up crude oil real quick. All right, crude oil topped out below its midpoint, that 115 to 91, and now Genesis looks to me like it's turning negative. Does it look negative to you, Jonathan? Looks like it's turning negative. If it goes negative, everybody that got short this morning are going to pay up because the market, now you got crude oil coming down, throw the E-mini in there and see what I'm talking about, how it's a reversal effect on E-mini. This is how you make money, folks, relating those markets. You see the difference, what I just did? All right, so what you got by being here today, you know where, number one, the ceasefire is over, correct? Number two, you know the numbers to relate to in a general market. Is this very helpful for people? I know that if you're new, it might not make sense to you, but if you like to make money, stick with me. I'll show you how. And I can say that unlike so many people out there, because if you look at what we've done, and people will tell you this, been with me 20 years, 15 years, 10 years. Now, I don't make money on every trade, but generally speaking, I'm going to give you about 4 out of 5 great ideas. There's always that bozo in there. And that's where my option rule, Sean, comes into play. If you have a position that I give you 72 hours later, get out of it. I'm not going to call you on the phone and say, hey, get out of that option position. We get out at 72 hours if we're not making money. Pretty simple. Everybody understand that rule I use. It works great for people that get busy. They just set a clock. Yep, that's right. All right, let's go back and we'll talk about weekend side hustle. Now, I wanted to show that to you because you're here, and I want you to take away something that you'll remember that might help you succeed today. Let's go back to our slides. Jonathan, I hated to interrupt you. You're doing so well. Take it away.
Okay. Yeah, Weekend Profits Club. Good program from Tom. It's trading the XSP. If you like trading the XSP, it's a really good vehicle. It's financially settled. Don't have to worry about assignment or anything like that. You also get tax advantages trading XSP.
Did y'all know that? You get a tax benefit.
So the weekend side hustle income alerts every single week. We get Tom's best income opportunity for over the weekend.
Jonathan said to me during a couple of these weeks, you're going to do the Weekend Profits Club. I said, Jonathan, the odds are so much in our favor. I got to do this trade. And we typically waited to Friday to put it on, and it's worked like a champ. Do you have any record, everybody, to see what we've done? If you can
Oh,
show
there's
me.
been plenty of weeks where I've been surprised you did a trade, but hey, this is what the numbers stack up to be. 6 winners in a row. That's always nice to see a winning streak. Last 20 trades, you've won 16 of 20, whatever percentage that is. And since the start of 2025, you've only had 11 losers paired with 44 winners.
So, how many people here really want to make money this week? Let me just ask that question. You really want to make money, right? Give me a yes. All right. So, I will put this trade on each and every week. There's only been 1 or 2 weeks I just couldn't do it, but generally speaking, what I did, and give you a little history here, this was one of our most successful programs, and started, we were selling options at the time, and it started, the trend turned south. And I said, we got to change it. Well, since we made that change, we got a formula. And we use that formula every week to put this trade on. And so it's really been so successful. I've been very pleased. And I will put a trade on before Friday's close. Sometimes I put it on Friday at noon. Sometimes I put it on as late as Thursday some days. But generally speaking, you'll have this trade before the weekend gets here. Now, let's say that you took $1,000 and put on this option. How many people could put $1,000 on a high odds trade? And I call this a high odds trade. $1,000. How many people can do that? Doesn't it make sense every week to add this money to your account percentage wise? Now, there'll be weeks we don't make money, but the good news is 72 hours after getting in the sucker, we're not making money, we get out. No muss, no fuss. So, and here's the way it works. We got to tell them how they get notified this trade's active.
You get an email alert, you get a text message alert, and you get a Telegram alert.
And so if they're expecting to get that alert, it's not going to come on Monday, not going to come on Tuesday, not going to come on Wednesday, sometimes maybe Thursday afternoon, but most of these trades were done on Friday. So on Friday, you say, hey, it's Weekend Profits Club. Well, on Friday, they got that saying, thank God it's Friday, I can get my weekend side hustle trade. It happened on Friday.
Yeah, most of the time it does happen on Friday, give you something to look forward to. And then every once in a while, kind of like we're getting a flash meeting today, this afternoon. So every once in a while you get a flash Thursday
Right.
alert. And a lot of times that's when your early payday exit plan comes into effect, where you get it on Thursday and have a higher odds of getting that on Friday, since Tom's getting, there's a reason Tom wants to get in early on Thursday because of what the market's doing. So that comes into play. We'll teach you that. There's a tax benefit, the actual full report on how you save. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, the CPA said, Tom, how'd you come up with it? You got to read the regulations. That's how we did it.
Some great feedback. This is from Ed from Indiana. It says, easy to follow entry and exit signals. The benefit is more than just the trading success. The program has given me confidence that if I had to rely on my own trading to make a living, I could do it.
Yeah, a lot of people put more than 1,000 that trade. They've been doing it for so long. They just write their own ticket there.
And then Ken P said, Tom, you're an excellent coach, trainer, and trader. You're easy to follow. I am 110% a member for life.
No, we don't sell this one lifetime, do we? I have to ask them. I don't know if we do or not. But
we may or may not. That might be the special surprise I had them queued up for everybody today. But the link for dtitrader.com/WPC looks like they have a hefty discount on there, $968 for a 1-year life or membership here. We can
and so after, the way that works is if you put 1,000 on each weekend side hustle trade, you're going to make about on the winners during a month, you'll make probably close to 1,200 maybe, and then you'll lose if we lose maybe 300 to 900. You pretty well get a scholarship after 1 month of activity if you don't hit a string of bad trades. And I think if you went back and looked at the losses we took, we didn't have 4 in a row or anything like that that was spread out, my guess. And losses are something that never win trade, but this is such a great program. So if you want to join, call 904-706-3532. And when I tell you the following, you ought to listen. This is real money. This is no guesswork here. This is simple, it's straightforward, and it's something everybody here ought to have in their account every week if they're here to make money. And that's what you told me, you were here to make money. I told Jonathan you need to show it and let him see it. Now, any questions? Because I think what we're going to do, if I know Jonathan, they're probably going to play a tape for you that gives you a lot more detail. But if you don't want to wait for the tape, you don't have to. Get signed up right now. Don't disappoint the fact that I'm doing this, showing you this stuff, and it gets better, better, and better. And there's no one that takes the experience of trading that DTI has and shares it the way we do. We don't hide things from you. We give you a transparent look at how to make money in the market. All you got to do is tell us what strategy you want to go. We got it. Any questions for us? I'm pretty excited about this, Jonathan. So we might go this afternoon. Who knows?
I'll be waiting for it.
Yeah, Peg, if you want to. Yeah, you can do it. She said, can you use this for SPX? Absolutely. You can.
And SPX has the same tax advantages as XSP as well.
I like the XSP, Peg, because you can trade, you can do some pretty good volume trades on the sucker.
All right, Tom.
What is our usual price we pay for an option? About $1?
Yeah, about $1. That's right.
So, if you want to do 50 of those, that's $5,000, and you make the average gain, which is about 30%. Let's see, that's be some big numbers for you. You ought to do this trade, do it, and hey, pretty good. Now, did somebody tell me they're doing away with the day trade rule April 15th? Did somebody tell me that? Oh, it's moved to July? Okay, July. That's good. Well, Jonathan, be out of jail and ready to roam.
Yeah, that would be a huge win for everybody.
Yeah, it really would. I got a few accounts out there that I could bring back to life with that.
Yeah, not a single person in the chat here is saying they don't want that. Everybody wants that. Everybody wants that. All right, let me queue up the video here, but go to dtitrader.com/WPC or call us at 904-706-3532 to get on board. And a reminder, we will have a flash meeting this afternoon at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time.